Keenan, thanks for being with us and congrats on the big honor.
It's a privilege to be here. I'm excited to speak with you.
Can you tell us about your company, Longhouse Branding and Marketing?
Yeah, business leaders, they get stuck wearing so many different hats and they get trapped by their to-do list. I was one of those business leaders, and now all of our brand is about dedicating the time to these to-do lists so that these business and community leaders, they can focus on what actually needs them the most and make their impact. Today, we've worked with over 850 of these leaders. We've worked across 92 industries, and we have over 455 million in reported revenues generated.
Wow, busy, busy. How do you integrate Indigenous cultural values into your business practices?
Yeah, and there's a Cree word. One of the first experiences I had with my culture was doing Cree lessons with my local chartered Métis community, Wichéa. And there was a word that I remember, Wukuduin, and that's like the kinship and the interconnectedness of everything, but particularly the responsibility that comes from that interconnectedness. And leaders have a responsibility to make their biggest impact. And whatever we can do at our business to win time back for these leaders, allowing them to focus on what needs them the most, that's what gives me energy. And the impact that these hundreds of businesses that we work with are making and these communities, that gives me purpose.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And what does this recognition as the 2025 Young Indigenous Entrepreneur Award from the Canadian Council for Indigenous Business mean to you?
To me, being a young entrepreneur, I was at like a business networking event, and I heard kind of this like older realtor guy talk about how young people these days don't work hard. They don't know what it means to work hard. They haven't seen the Longhouse team. We have such a strong, hardworking group of people here. Young people these days work very hard. We were actually just named the fastest growing marketing agency in Canada. We were actually named the #1 fastest growing branding agency in the world. So someone who says young people don't work hard, they're wrong. As an Indigenous entrepreneur, I wasn't raised in my culture. My mom wasn't even raised in her culture, and that's really a testament to the destruction of cultural assimilation. And I was very anxious in like learning about that side of myself. So about a decade ago, when I was reaching out to Wichéa and going to these Cree classes and these different conferences, I was very anxious, and I want to be a part of the conversation that makes approaching different parts of your history more accessible, more approachable. And if I can do that as the recipient of the National Young Indigenous Entrepreneur of the Year Award from the Canadian Council for Indigenous Business, that'll give me some purpose.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, Keenan, what advice do you have for up and coming Indigenous entrepreneurs or big dreamers out there?
Being an entrepreneur can be very lonely. It can be scary, and you need to find people that have your best interest at heart. For me, I was very grateful to EY, not just for sponsoring the award, but also for giving me access to the Entrepreneur Access Network, where I was introduced to a mentor, Greg Noble, who has seen every business question before. And being able to get connected to accountants and lawyers and the professional network that every entrepreneur or dreamer needs in their life is unquantifiably valuable. So to anyone that is interested in business, your network is your net worth. That was the keynote takeaway that I had. I was at a Indigenous business education event at UBC, and Chief Clarence Louie of the Osoyoos Indian Band, he repeated that one a few times, drilled it into my brain. Your network is your net worth. And that's definitely true. And if you're a dreamer, take a chance on yourself. Be curious. believe in anything that you want to do, you can do it.
Yeah, no, great words of advice. Keenan Beavis, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for talking to us today, and congrats again on the award.
It was great talking to you.